in New York. Members of the NYPD Detective Bureau are currently traveling to Pennsylvania with members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to interview this subject. This case was brought to a successful conclusion based on the coordinated effort between numerous NYPD units, including the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau, our federal partners at the FBI, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
All right, guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Transparency. We are actually going to have a good presser, so we are here for it. Come on in. We are going to be waiting here over here to the right. We're going to be seeing the arraignment. This is in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, the county of Blair, Pennsylvania. So they're doing an arraignment here, and very interesting that they're doing a 6 p.m. arraignment. Okay. And
via television, print, social media.
And then and then we'll be having a press conference. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see the arraignment or if we're just going to hear the press conference. We're going to see what's up. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. We've been raking over the coals. We've been getting everything that we can before it goes dark. So if anybody wonders, why isn't Lana live, or what's Lana doing, or you guys, if we show a presser a little bit later, it is what it is, but we need to get the material.
In that document, was there anything more about him wanting to go after others? And also in that document, was there any indication?
So again, I have that on pause because we're not going to listen to anything to do with New York. We're waiting for this to begin in the county of Blair. So we've been wasting our time doing things that are going to matter in the long run. So again, good evening. What is up? This is clearly not the person that the mayor said that they had the name of. Okay? So let's just remember that. All right, now I will say that I personally think that his eyebrows and everything lines up with the guy that was at the hostel. I do think that his eyebrows, line up with that. I don't know if you guys have seen the fake ID. We'll show you guys that. But remember, I want to see the photos of the shooter from the opposite angle, of like him from the back. I want to see from the opposite angle. But everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So again, that's my motto. So the perp walk, he did the perp walk. We'll go to that afterwards, but so we'll see what's up. Bro, the eyebrows, though. I mean, I think that we need to ask him where he was on November 12th, 2022 to November 13th, 2022. We have his stuff out of Hawaii. Now, I think this is wild, and this is just me. But all the stuff that was going on with what's her name, Hannah over there in Honolulu, and she was supposed to go to New York, but then she doesn't. And this guy was, he has ties to Hawaii, and he was trespassing, and then he's in New York, and then he's shooting up a CEO. But we'll start putting out all that good stuff. Any relation to Bill Thompson? Those eyebrows, definitely not. He had over 100 followers before they deleted his ex account. Over 100 followers? I mean, I don't know. So let's see.
To Pennsylvania.
I was going to ask if we knew anything, if you took a bus.
Again, I'm not going to play any of that New York shit, so sorry. 100,000, is that what it said? 100,000 before they took it down? Okay. Yeah. Did they end up taking it down? I mean, we got as much. I think we downloaded it, but we'll see. We'll see. See what this PCA is all about. We'll see what's just going on, period. All right, let's see what they're. Oh, here we go. Nope, not that.
You also activated the Sentry program through Intel. Can you talk actually building the case as far as cell phone and all of the other technical aspects of what you've done?
In this case, it really came down to technology was the use of drones in Central Park, and really comes down to the video canvas that we did. We used every source of video that we could collect, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours from hundreds of sources, and that helped bring this to where we are right now.
The gun is it believed to be the gun used in the shooting? And there was some talk that it was a veterinarian type gun. Is that accurate?
No, as of right now, the information we're getting from Altoona is that the gun appears to be a ghost gun. May have been made on a 3D printer. The capability of firing a 9mm round, obviously that will come out during our ballistics testing.
Oliver?
Yeah, Oliver Barnes from the Financial Times. Do you have any indication like how long this handwritten, is it a handwritten manifesto that you found on the suspect? And then also whether or not he put it online at all?
Don't know if it's online. As of right now, it's a handwritten 3-page document.
Chief, does he have ties to that area, and was he someone who you knew by name before his arrest?
We believe he may have attended college in Pennsylvania, but like I said earlier, he has ties to Maryland and California and Hawaii.
And you knew him by name before today. Was his name on your radar?
Excuse me?
Was his name on your radar? Was he someone who you had been looking into before his arrest?
No, we did not have his name prior to today.
Lynn?
Okay. Does he have any prior arrests? I know there were none for New York City, but is there any prior arrests anywhere else in the country?
We have not come across any arrests in the country.
Chief, hi, how are you? On two things. On the ghost gun, is it something you're going to be looking into to see if he made it himself? And can he make that himself? Or would he have to buy the gun the way it was?
No, once again, that'll be part of our investigation as we follow up.
I mean, obviously he's going to face murder charges, but is there any chance that he could face any other charges because he was targeting the CEO and because of his writings and other things that we're now finding on him? Federal charges or
that determination will be made by Alvin Bragg.
Yes, what connection does he have in Pennsylvania that you know of, and are they in Altoona specifically?
We believe he attended college in Pennsylvania.
Does he know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Wouldn't be able to tell you that.
All right, we're going to take one more question on the shooting, Marla, and then we're going to go.
You talk about the manifesto having said things against corporations, but specifically United Healthcare, and do you believe that Mangione acted alone?
We believe at this point, our investigation is leaning toward he was acting alone. So, like I stated earlier, we're still working through the investigation. We're not stopping today. And as far as the manifesto, like I said, I don't have the complete details of that. It's in the possession of the Altoona Police Department.
We're going to shift to
Good job, Chief.
All right, you're just listening in there to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, Police Chief, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, providing an update. Lots of pertinent information in the arrest as this strong person of interest, as they are calling it at this moment, Luigi Mangione, in custody in Pennsylvania. We do have this live picture right now there in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. You can see a news conference expected to begin any moment after.
We're just waiting on this. Good evening, everybody. Truth and Transparency, come on in. Let's talk about it with like-minded folks. So what is good? What is up there? How are you? Eddie, good to see you. Good to see all the names in chat. Do me a favor and thumbs it up. Thumbs up the video. So let's hear about it. Let's hear what they have to say. Exclusive. Luigi. Oh. Fox News. Is he in the... There we go.
Like you heard from authorities in this press conference from earlier today in New York City, they did recover a gun on his person, also a suppressor.
Did he pee his pants? Look at that. I mean, looked like he, you know, a little. Here we go. Right there. Look at that.
Come back to officially, he's being held there on those gun charges. Like you heard from authorities in this press conference from earlier, into a 3-page handwritten document that suggested he harbored, quote, ill will toward corporate America. Mangione also
Must just be
had a
those
ghost
pants.
gun, a type of weapon that can be assembled at home and is difficult to trace. They also said it might be 3D printed, no real serial number, no VIN number on it. So there is a reason they're potentially linking them to this crime. Officers questioned Mangione, who was acting suspiciously, carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport, according to New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said at the news conference. She said the suppressor was, quote, consistent with the weapon used in the murder. He had clothing and a mask similar to those worn by the shooter of the fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the one the suspect used to check into a New York City hostel before the shooting. So you can see a microphone being set up, pictures being taken, as this one expected to begin in just a matter of moments as well. Authorities said Mangione was also born and raised in Maryland, has ties to San Francisco, and his last known address was in Hawaii. Mangione was the valedictorian of his Maryland prep school, earning undergraduate and graduate degrees in computer science in 2020 from the University of Penn. A university spokesperson told Associated Press.
University of Penn
Monday
is a friend of mine went there.
The Gilman School, from which Mangione graduated in 2016, is one of Baltimore's elite prep schools, and some of the city's wealthiest and most prominent people have.
You guys, I mean, yeah. Pennsylvania ain't no joke if you're getting in there. Clearly, this kid's a smart kid.
Family as well. So the shooting back on Wednesday, as the search, the manhunt took 5+ days, spanning into the 6th day, as police said the person who killed Thompson left a hostel in Manhattan's Upper.
So I think you got caught by somebody that's working at McDonald's, though. Ooh. Ooh. That's just fucking great, you guys. Woo! You go, I mean, smart as shit, then decides, I'm going to go get a damn new snack wrap because they just came back out, you know, or a McRib. Holy shit. And then somebody is like, I swear to God, that's the guy. Because, you know, they all watch true crime. They all watch Truth and Transparency over there at McDonald's in Blaine County over there. And they're like, I swear I was just watching Truth and Transparency last night. And I would never forget those brows. You know, think about that. The brows got him caught because then this Mickey D's employee who just got themselves 60 G's said, I swear to God, this is that man. And calls up and boom, like arrested. God, in Pennsylvania of all places, you know, there ain't no body cam on this shit. PSP does not use body cam. But I wonder if who they call. They just call their local like 911, like, hey, I work at the, you know, blah, 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 McDonald's. And I swear, I mean, I've been taking pictures of him. And I swear this is the guy that y'all are looking for from New York City, baby. So how do you think that went? And so, hey, I got to go. My manager's wondering why the burgers are burning. I got to go. But I really want my 60 G's. Come on, hurry up. Get over here. You know this fine Italian boy down here. I swear to God, he's the one. Get down here. He ordered that new McRib. It just came out. What is up? Diane says he should join the Jonas Brothers.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Blair County.
Is it Blair,
Courthouse.
Blaine?
Audio
Okay.
test 1, 2, 3, 4,
Check
5,
microphone.
6.
Check, check, 1, 2. We'll be right back, they say, but look at this new music they're giving us. The beats. The beats.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Thank you so much for joining us as we're continuing to follow the information. And if you are just joining us here nearing the top of the hour, we're learning more information about Luigi Mangione as the arraignment taking place today in Blair County in Pennsylvania. We're expecting to hear from someone there at this press conference after the arraignment, a news conference after they have
they're just punking us. Everybody thinks there's about to be a press conference, and there's not over here in Blair County. It's the Blair Witch Project. Anyways, I bet you they're going to play that 911 call one day. I thought it was funny, Lana. It's my protective side for you. Like, you need my back. Oh, let's check it out. Here we go.
Old software engineer graduated from the
26 years of age, software engineer. Interesting. Again, graduated from the University of Pennsylvania with degrees in computer science and math. Attended prestigious schools such as Gilman School and an all-boys prep school in Baltimore County High School, valedictorian. And so was the man that was killed. He was the valedictorian, but I think he was the valedictorian of his college. Maybe he was a valedictorian of high school as well, but interesting. Luigi, middle name is Nicholas. I wonder if he goes by, Nicholas. He was taken into custody at McDonald's. You guys can't make this up. McDonald's employee alerted the police after spotting. Sitting there just eating. I told you guys. Police say Luigi was found with a ghost gun, mask, writings, and other evidence. Mangione is being held in Pennsylvania on gun charges and will face charges in New York on United Healthcare. Here we go.
I'm there in Pennsylvania of this. It's this news conference expected to begin any moment. You see plenty of media members on hand for this. So we'll see if anybody steps up in a matter of moments. But this has been the main story for the last 6 days since those fateful Wednesday morning hours, 6:46 a.m. Brian Thompson was walking into the Hilton Midtown Manhattan.
I'm going to agree with this comment right here is that, why would he have all of these things still? Especially the gun. Okay. Like they're going to say that he has the gun and the silencer, this manifesto. I mean, what a moron. Like you said, catch me if you can. So you guys, if this McDonald's employee does not call in, they do not get him. Do you understand that? This McDonald's employee does not call in, they don't get him, according to what they're saying. He wasn't one of their names. The mayor said that they had a name the other day. Well, I want to know what name the mayor had, because I want to know if they used IGG. Because if they had that name from IGG, we're going to talk about how crazy IGG is then. But we have a name, we have identified a suspect, but we're not going to release that. Okay. Says the same guy that gave P. Diddy the key to New York. Okay. Just crazy, right? But anyways, I hope that this McDonald's employee gets her 60 grand or his 60 grand. And I would want it all in 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s.
Could really help authorities, will really help authorities as they found several fraudulent IDs, a passport, a ghost gun, and a suppressor they said is, quote, consistent to the one used in this Wednesday attack. So we're still following this very, very closely. Again, I just want to put up just this, the moment that Mangione was led inside of this courthouse earlier on for this arraignment. As you see Luigi for the first time since he was taken into custody. First time, really, we're seeing it on video since he was taken into custody. Stoic not saying anything to the media outside of this, led with his hands behind his back in handcuffs by several members of law enforcement in Pennsylvania. He's being held there on those gun charges and will likely be extradited to New York City as soon as possible to face these charges in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So a lot uncovered today, a lot discovered and really revealed at the press conference by New York City Mayor Eric Adams, New York City Police Department Commissioner Jessica Tisch, and others. All right, we're still waiting for anyone to step out here.
We're still
Let's
waiting
take another
for anyone.
quick 2-minute break here on Live Now from
Spamming
Fox,
the chat.
and
Thank
hopefully
you.
we'll hear from authorities after this.
I have no idea what they're doing. But let's talk about it some more here. So can we call every damn McDonald's and see who was working when they took a homie by storm? Can you imagine though, Pennsylvania dispatch here? Oh my gosh, hi 911. I gotta really go. I'm over here at the McDonald's. Can you please send somebody out? I'm telling you, it's the damn guy you guys are looking for on the news. New York, the CEO killer. He's eating in my restaurant. Can you please send somebody? Your restaurant? Well, my McDonald's, my fast food restaurant. I gotta go. My manager is gonna kill me right now, but please, can you get out here? He's probably gonna go any minute, man. Hurry up. Like, how do I keep him here? Where's this McDonald's employee taking a bunch of pictures? I would have been taking pictures of him, right? Eating these, I don't know, McRibs and, I don't know, large fry. So, but this doesn't match anything. I think the guy and his eyebrows look very, very, I have his fake ID. We're going to go through all that. We'll show all that. But I have his fake ID. This whole family's got brows for days. Very smart dude. Very smart. I still have a question. How did he know where Brian Thompson was spending the night? How did he know what hotel? Brian Thompson got in town on Monday. So how did he know where Brian Thompson was going to be? How did he know any of that? Did he make some calls ahead of time? So I guess nobody cares about that, but
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. A live picture there in New York City as we turn our attention there from this, where that grisly murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson took place early Wednesday morning. Now out to Pennsylvania as we're learning more information about the man, the strong person of interest in this case, Luigi Mangione. You can see a couple Live Now pictures there in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. So we'll see if they step up to this here in a matter of moments, talking about what we are learning from this case. As you can see, the different shot is a little bit pixelated.
Mark, not Mario. Mark.
Live Now from Fox with a news
Rosario.
in a matter of moments about this individual.
Again, his fake ID said Mark Rosario, Rosario, Mark Rosario. Again, his fake ID, New Jersey. And so it has him listed as a hot 5'10". A hot 5'10". It's HGT, but it looks like hot. So, but it's HGT. So he's 5'10", literally eyebrows for days. And he meets the description of the Idaho 4 suspect. I want to know about this guy. He literally meets the suspect to the Idaho 4 case. So I want to know about him. So his name was Mark Rosario on his fake ID. Again, so his fake ID said Mark Rosario, 128 Sherman Place, Maplewood, New Jersey. So we'll put that up here just in a second. There is rumors out there that there was a GoFundMe page for a Bob Mangione with cancer. So I'm curious about that. We're looking into that. Again, there was a GoFundMe page for a Bob Mangino. So we'll see what's up. Oh, so no, his fake ID did not say Mario. So please do not put shit in my chat. That's just not correct. You can say, in my opinion, or I thought I heard, but please don't say something as fact if it's not fact. All right, we got the valedictorian speech. It's 8 minutes long. Woo! Yeah. Get all the goodies. Why is Blair bailing on us, man? Blair, step up to the plate. So let's see. What else do we got? Oh.
Headmaster Smythe. Mr. Hubeck. Members of the Board of Trustees. Family, friends, faculty, and fellow students. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here to celebrate Gilman's 116th Founders Day. I'm honored to be speaking to you all today on behalf of the Gilman class of 2016. When I started writing the speech, I talked with several students and teachers and asked how they would describe the class of 2016. Many of the students characterized our class as inventive, in both imagination and initiative. At the same time, several teachers reminded me of our class's commitment to Gilman and its traditions. I came to realize that both views are correct. The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Throughout its time here at Gilman, the class of 2016 is
there to step up to the podium as they in Blair County. So no one talking as of yet, but this is a live picture. We're going to stick with it because this has been the biggest story of the last week or so since that Grizzly shooting, the fatal shooting. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. I was here in the anchor chair for the initial press conference as we were trying to piece together what happened that morning, and more importantly, why it happened early this morning or early Wednesday morning. The manhunt continued for day after day, nearly a week, until a McDonald's employee called in to authorities saying that they saw a person that looked like the suspect that was involved in the fatal shooting of Brian Thompson. Authorities did apprehend this individual, detain them, arrest them, put them in custody on gun charges, expected to be extradited to New York soon about this. So they're about to step up here in just a matter of moments. Luigi Mangione, arraigned in Pennsylvania. Let's listen in to authorities in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, provide an update.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Deputy Chief Derek Swope of the Altoona Police Department. Today, we're going to go through an incident that occurred in the city of Altoona. This morning at approximately 9:14 a.m., Altoona police officers received a call of a suspicious male at a local restaurant. It was reported that the male matched the description of the United Healthcare murder in New York City. When officers arrived, they made contact with the male who had a face mask on. That male was asked to remove his face mask, and officers immediately recognized him as a suspect in the New York City shooting in recent days. That male was asked for a form of identification. He then provided a fake identification card out of New Jersey. After a brief investigation, it was determined that the ID provided was in fact a fake ID, and he was subsequently arrested for a forgery charge. Once he was taken into custody for that forgery charge, he was transported to the Altoona Police Department. Once at the Altoona Police Department, that male was searched instant to arrest. It was discovered that he had a United States passport that identified him as, Luigi Mangione. From there, continued search of his property. A firearm was located and a suppressor was also located. There are also other items of evidentiary value that were located that would assist in this investigation. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Governor Shapiro for some words.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Swope. And let me acknowledge and thank the law enforcement who I'm joined with today, beginning with Lieutenant Colonel Bivens of the Pennsylvania State Police. I want to thank Senior Special Supervisory Agent Szabo from the FBI, and acknowledge NYPD Commissioner Daughtry and the women and men of the NYPD who join us here today. District Attorney Weeks, who you will hear from shortly. And I just concluded a briefing with Mayor Adams and Commissioner Tisch from New York. I want to begin by thanking our fellow Pennsylvania resident who acted as a hero today. Pennsylvania resident saw something early this morning at McDonald's and said something to our local police. Our local police here in Altoona acted swiftly. I want to say a special thanks to Officer Tyler Fry of the Altoona Police Department. Officer Fry is about 6 months into his time serving his fellow people here in Pennsylvania, and he acted swiftly, he acted with smarts, and he acted with calm. You know, safety often turns on the strength of the relationship between the community and law enforcement. We have that strong relationship here in Altoona, and it was proven here today. I want to ask all of our fellow Pennsylvanians to demonstrate the same type of thoughtfulness and courage and smarts as the individual at McDonald's did this morning, and help law enforcement here in Pennsylvania as we continue with our investigation. You'll see photos of the suspect who is here. And you should know that this suspect traveled between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, making stops in between, obviously here in Altoona. I want to ask all of our fellow Pennsylvanians to help us with any tips that they might have by contacting us at 800-4-PA-TIPS. Again, that number is 800-4-PA-TIPS. The suspect was just arraigned here in the courthouse, and presumably New York will file charges very, very soon. That process will continue to play out, and justice will be delivered in this case. This case is hinged on attention. In fact, the attention in this case and the killing of Brian Thompson was helpful, no doubt, in allowing us to capture this killer, in alerting that individual at McDonald's this morning, and then having that individual contact police. But some attention in this case, especially online, has been deeply disturbing, as some have looked to celebrate instead of condemning this killer. Brian Thompson was a father to two. He was a husband, and he was a friend to many. And yes, he was the CEO of a health insurance company. In America, we do not kill people in cold blood to policy differences or express a viewpoint. I understand people have real frustration with our healthcare system, and I have worked to address that throughout my career. But I have no tolerance, nor should anyone, for one man using an illegal ghost gun to murder someone because he thinks his opinion matters most. In a civil society, We are all less safe when ideologues engage in vigilante justice. In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning. The real heroes every day in our society are the women and men who put on uniforms like these and go out in our communities to keep us safe. This killer was not a hero. He should not be hailed. Mr. Thompson, I understand, was laid to rest earlier today in Minnesota in a private setting. As the conversation continues about this case, let's be mindful not to dehumanize him and make him just an avatar of a system that is disliked by many. He was a father, he was a husband, and he did not deserve to die like this on a sidewalk in New York City. I again want to thank all law enforcement who's present here this evening. Law enforcement works best when it works together. In this case, you have the New York Police Department working together with the Altoona Police Department, working together with our Pennsylvania State Police and our partners at the federal level as well. Everyone came together to solve this case and keep the public safe. I again want to ask my fellow Pennsylvanians, if you have any information regarding this suspect or his travels throughout Pennsylvania, please share those tips with us immediately. And with that, I want to thank District Attorney Weeks for his important work today and invite him to the microphone to say a few words.
Thank you, Governor Shapiro. Good evening, everyone. I would echo the governor's sentiments. Law enforcement does work at its best when they work together. I'd also like to thank District Attorney Seidel. He and his staff came down from Manhattan District Attorney's office today in record time to assist us at the Altoona Police Department. And as the governor stated, the state police, the Altoona Police Department, the FBI, the New York City Police Department, Logan Township Police Department, the Blair County Sheriff's Department, and other agencies all worked together today to do what needed to be done to seek justice. I often brag about how the community in Blair County isn't afraid to say something, to report a crime, to contact local law enforcement. And I've often touted how they've made their community, whether it be Altoona or somewhere else, a safer place to live. And today I submit that a resident from Altoona and the Altoona Police Department helped make New York City a safer place to live and helped kickstart the process to seek justice for a senseless killing. So again, I'd like to thank everybody, and it's my honor to introduce Deputy Commissioner Daugherty at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DA. On behalf of the New York City Mayor Eric Adams, my boss, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, wants to extend once again their appreciation to the Altoona Police Department, to your leadership team, the federals, state, local authorities, and especially to the customer at the McDonald's that seen something, said something to the McDonald's employee that called 911 and reported this individual inside of their restaurant. The men and women behind me, the detectives, some of these detectives I've stated behind me haven't been home since Tuesday when this incident happened. They've been working this case tirelessly around the clock. And when they got that phone call, immediately they jumped in their car, the police car, and raced down here to go see if this was the individual that we were looking for. That's dedication. Their commitment to bringing this individual to justice is just standing behind me. And on behalf of the mayor and the police commissioner, they extend their thanks and appreciation to you as well. Here's a message to the criminal element that think that they want to commit a crime in New York City and cross state lines, county lines. The message is very clear. Police Commissioner Tish's police department will find you and bring you to justice. Just look behind me. Thank you.
I think with that, we'll be happy to try and take a few questions.
Question, I guess maybe for the local authorities about the arrest specifically today. I don't know who.
We'll defer to Altoona Police.
I guess I'm curious if you could hear a little bit more about the dynamics, if you could set the podium there. If you could hear a little bit more about the dynamics inside that McDonald. I know there was some detail in the affidavit about what happened when the individual was asked into New York. Could you speak a little bit to his demeanor and how that played out?
Sure. So it was a peaceful arrest, first and foremost. The officer quickly recognized the male as the suspect from the shooting. And within several minutes, seconds of the first contact, he had asked the suspect if he had been in New York City recently. And that really invoked a physical reaction from the suspect. He became visibly nervous, kind of shaking at that question. And he didn't really answer it directly. So that statement alone really said a lot. And the suspect didn't have to say a lot after that question to show that, you know, he was very nervous at that point.
Was that the officer that the governor mentioned who was new on the job, who was involved in that?
Yes, so Officer Fry's here to my left. Officer Fry, you step this way a little bit. And then his partner that he was with, Officer Joe Detweiler.
Officer, could you maybe identify yourself and maybe describe that whole interaction and what played out? Spell your name.
Yeah, Patrolman Fry, Tylerfrye. So whenever we got on scene there, we were able to pretty much find where he was at in the restaurant. And as soon as he was wearing a blue medical mask. As soon as we pulled that down, or we asked him to pull it down, me and my partner and I recognized him immediately, just from what we saw in the media with photos, videos. We just didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy, but he was very cooperative with us. Didn't really give us too many issues. Once we found out his identity, we took it from there.
How does it feel with 6 months on the job as a law enforcement officer to be part of?
I can't say I was expecting it by any means, but it feels good to get a guy like that off the street, especially starting my career this way. It feels great.
Sir, has he made any statements since his arrest? Has he asked for a lawyer yet?
To my knowledge, he hasn't made any statements.
How long was he staying in Altoona, and where was he staying? And then was the gun on himself, or was it in like a car somewhere?
We are still investigating how long he's been in Altoona. There's still a lot of follow-up to do in this case. Again, the men and women behind me are assisting with that. So we're still looking into it.
I'm going to ask Lieutenant Colonel Bivens of the Pennsylvania State Police to address the question you just raised.
Thank you. So there are a lot of things that need to be followed up yet in this investigation. Certainly, there were a number of items that were found on his person, in his backpack, that have been inventoried. And we've begun to do an analysis of some of those. There were written documents. There are electronic devices that are in the process of being downloaded. Search warrants are obtained. And so over the next hours and days, those efforts will continue. And we're going to take a closer look at all of the information that we can glean from that regarding his activities up until and during the time of the homicide, his flight from New York. And we know that he has been in Pennsylvania, excuse me, for several days. And so part of that investigation will also focus on trying to retrace his steps. We've already identified businesses, for example, that he frequented in this area and activities that he engaged in, and that led us to more evidence. And so all of that is becoming kind of a mountain of evidence that has to be analyzed and looked at. I'm confident we'll have a much better idea of his activities over the past number of days in New York and in Pennsylvania. Additionally, we're also trying to determine that we don't have another actor or an accomplice out there. And so this information will be used to help us prove or disprove whether that exists and whether there were any other intended targets. So a lot of questions that are out there that are unanswered yet, but we have a lot of information that we can examine that hopefully will give us some of those pieces of data that we need. You asked, or someone asked about the interview. He was initially cooperative. He is not now. And so he has been arraigned and transported and will be securely housed pending the filing of additional charges in New York.
Governor, you mentioned that he was in Pittsburgh at some point. Is that correct?
Yes.
What do you know about that time in Pittsburgh?
We're not going to get into any more details at this time. We would like to hear from any Pennsylvanian or any Pittsburgher who had any sightings or any dealings with the individual. That's why I specifically asked for anyone with tips to share that with us.
Can you tell me about the extradition to New York? How does that process work? I know that you have your piece here, but what happens with the New York part of it?
And how long does it take?
Thank you.
So that answer depends. Once the charging documents are filed in the state of New York, we will file a fugitive justice complaint against the defendant. He'll be brought before a common pleas judge shortly thereafter, and the defendant will be presented with the option to waive his extradition or to contest his extradition. If he waives his extradition, we of course will make him available to the NYPD and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office as soon as we're able to arrange his transportation there. If he contests it, that process typically takes between 30 and 45 days to do the requisite paperwork, but we do that all the time in our office, and that's kind of a normal procedure.
On the matter of the backpack itself right now, the backpack itself, you had the one that was in New York. Do we know if that's the same one that he had at the time of the shooting there, or is this backpack that he had here and one that he may have acquired? And the findings inside, the gun, the silencer, and cash, some foreign currency as well, is that correct?
I'll defer to someone else. I'm not going to speculate on any of the interpretation of the evidence. I'm going to rely on the officers doing the investigation to complete that and reach their conclusions.
Can we say that at this point he is a suspect in the hit on the United CEO? Can we call him a suspect at this point? Obviously, he was rushed on.
Yes, as we confirmed at his preliminary arraignment with the permission of District Attorney Seidel, we expect charges to be filed forthwith. And obviously that I'm not going to speculate on that timing, but tonight or tomorrow or sometime in the very near future for homicide.
Any insight into sorry, sir, can I just ask? In terms of the officer's investigation of this case, can you say any more about suspected possible motive?
So at this point, we're not going to comment on that. I mentioned that there is a lot of information to go through. Certainly everything has been or will be shared with NYPD, but there is other information that really doesn't even pertain to that investigation. It, again, focuses more on his activities here in Pennsylvania and other travels. So all of that hopefully will shine more light on it. There is some information that gives us some insight into his thinking, but again, all part of the ongoing investigation and way too early to discuss that.
As far as the NYPD, we're not going to be commenting on the investigation steps here. In the next couple of days, there'll be immediate availability at One Police Plaza, and Commissioner Tisch will update. Commissioner Tisch and the Chief of Detectives, Joe Kinney, will update the media at One Police Plaza. But I will be happy to talk about that. The Commissioner Tisch and the New York City Mayor did FaceTime Officer Fry and then thanked them for their service. So that was he got a pretty cool phone call from the mayor and our police commissioner.
Do we know how he got to Pennsylvania? Was it through aircraft, train, bus? How did he arrive in Pennsylvania?
Again, we do have a good idea of that, but all part of the ongoing investigation.
But just to clarify, Governor, you had suggested, I think I heard you, I want to make sure I heard it right, that he, I guess he took a bus from the terminal of the George Washington Bridge to Philly, and then from there he was around the stage wound up here, or is that where, can you be any more specific about how you think this works?
Well, again, I'll jump in as it's all part of the ongoing investigation. And so, yes, we do have a good idea how he got from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, but there are some gaps in time. And so before we start laying out a timeline of his travel, we really need to work through all of that. And so we know that at some point it is likely he was in a variety of locations across the state, to include Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and points in between.
And then Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and then maybe right back to that.
Again, that'll all be part of the, logically, he's caught here in Altoona. So logically, he was in those locations first. But again, the timeline of all of that will be part of the ongoing investigation.
Detection for several days. Obviously, he was caught at McDonald's this morning. You guys got to eat. For the past few days, he's been on the run for multiple days at this point. How did he manage to evade detection for so long?
So I think, again, as part of the ongoing investigation, when we determine where he's been, where he stayed, those kinds of things, we may be able to answer some of those questions. But right now, I will tell you that based on everything that we have seen, he was very careful with trying to stay low profile, avoid cameras, not all that successfully in some cases, but that was certainly the effort he was making. He took steps to try and, avoid detection with some of the electronic devices and things as well. So again, all part of the investigation, but clearly, somebody that was very security conscious and trying to avoid someone
He has
identifying.
no criminal record, and this was a name that was not previously known to law enforcement.
I am not aware of a criminal history on this individual.
Evasion devices. It was mentioned in the hearing, and then the defendant said that those were waterproof bags. Could you speak a little bit more to what was taken into evidence today?
No, not at this point. Again, I've spoken generally about what's there, but at this point, everything remains under investigation, and we'll have much more information. And New York will certainly have information for you in the future.
How confident are you this is the suspect? Is there still a search for any other suspects other than the accomplice or potential accomplice?
We're still going to canvass. We're still going to investigate. Like I said before, we're going to provide an update in a couple of days by the police commissioner and the chief of detectives back at New York. I will say this though, if anybody out there that has any information that they think that will help this case, to please contact our tip line, which is 1-800-577-TIPS. And remember, all calls are kept confidential.
Just to clarify, the customer spoke with the employee called 911.
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
Was it a customer that recognized the suspect first, told the employee, and the employee rang police? Is that correct?
The employee recognized also.
Yes, my understanding, I was just confirming, but my understanding is the employee became suspicious, thought they recognized, and wanted someone to check it out further.
Because someone referred to a customer.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, did I say the employee? The customer recognized, notified an employee, and wanted someone to check it out further.
Can you confirm which restaurant it was? Was it the one on Plank Road?
I'm not familiar with the address of that. It's a McDonald's, but is that it? Yes, they told me it is.
The suspect disputed the currency. Can you explain why there might be discrepancy or how much he was found to have?
Again, we're not going to talk about what was found in the bag. We have accurately cataloged everything that was in there, and that'll be a matter for the future.
DA Weeks, could you repeat what you said in court about that money?
I certainly stand by all the comments I made at the preliminary arraignment, but I'm not going to comment any more on the evidence at this time. My comments at preliminary arraignment were in support of my argument for bail. Thank you.
We probably have time for one or two more questions. Is he being held at a county or state facility?
He will likely be taken to a state correctional institution later this evening.
Can I just say specifically for Pennsylvania law enforcement, over the past few months, you've had attempted assassination of former president, now President-elect. Now you've had this. What do you think about that?
Violence can never be used to address political differences or to address a substantive difference or to try and prove some ideological point. That is not what we do in a civilized society. That was true in Butler. It was true in New York City. and it's true anywhere. That is not how you make progress in this country. The suspect here who shot at that CEO and killed that CEO is a coward, not a hero. And we need to make sure that in this country, we get back to having a civil discourse about our differences. And that is an important lesson coming out of Pennsylvania. And it is one that I think the rest of the nation needs to hear as well. On a law enforcement side, I will tell you that I am incredibly proud of the Pennsylvania State Police and local police in Butler and here in Altoona, who responded in a way that kept others safe and saved other lives. That was true at the fairgrounds in Butler, and it was true here today in Altoona. Had that local Pennsylvanian not spoken up, had that wonderful police officer who's been on this job for 6 months not acted calmly and swiftly, God knows what could have happened. So I think the lessons coming out of Pennsylvania are that violence is not a way to answer questions and address problems, and that we have the gift of law enforcement here in this Commonwealth who care deeply about the safety and well-being of our fellow Pennsylvanians and our fellow Americans, and I commend them for that.
Thank you all.
All right, you can just see as they wrap up this press conference there in Blair County, Pennsylvania. You saw Governor Josh Shapiro and other members of law enforcement provide an update on the arrest of.
All right, guys, what do we think? Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I have a lot of things to say, but we'll put it off this way. So that's the end of the press conference. So at 9:15 a.m., McDonald's, now it is being clarified as an employee, a customer. You know, this person had a mask on that was eating. So this customer that was there was like, this seems suspicious. So I'm going to tell an employee. Why wouldn't I call the police myself to get that nice $50K, right? I'm going to tell, I think that this person is who I personally would have seen the stuff on the news. You know, like, how would this McDonald's employee know anything? Like, hey, have you been watching the news? Does that guy look like, you know what I mean? Like, what? So they want us to believe that a customer was in McDonald's and went to an employee and said, this guy seems suspicious and just wanted to tell you that. Have a good day. And then the employee called and they stumbled over the fact that, because it was like, oh man, well, what if somebody tries to get this 911 call, which we're going to try to get it. And to alert this, police department to come on down. And then they said they walked up to him. You guys saw that 6-month new police officer there, Officer Fry, Frye, just like a fry you eat out of McDonald's, and just like that fry down in Idaho. That Fry then walked up to the guy and asked him, hey, can you remove your mask? Then me and the other officer immediately noticed that this guy looked like the New York CEO shooter. Well, we would only have seen stuff with a mask on, so okay. I don't know what they've seen. And then they asked him, have you been to New York recently? Have you been to New York recently? And that's when he became, in quotes, very nervous and shaky. And didn't answer the question. And then he went peacefully, though. He hasn't made any statements. So at first he was being cooperative and then he wasn't. He had numerous things in his backpack. And the pictures that we've seen, he actually has the black jacket on, a black mask, okay? But where's the medical mask, the blue medical mask that he had on when the officers first came up to him? Like, where are those? Or where is that one? The pictures, if you look, you can see that he has the black mask that's around his neck, but he had the surgical mask while he was sitting there eating McDonald's. He had the surgical mask on. Ask him to remove that. But then where is that in terms of like, then we see the pictures of him when he is actually in the police department, and he doesn't have his jacket on anymore. He doesn't have the black, not surgical mask that's blue, but the one that's around his neck. So no jacket, none of that. They said that they arrested him because they asked for his ID, and they did a brief investigation, realized it was a fake ID. So they charged him with forgery charges. Okay. They took him into custody, Altoon police. So they arrested him. When they arrested him, he had a U.S. passport and it had his name. And then he had a firearm, which they were referring to a ghost firearm, which is one that does not have a serial number, and that there was a silencer in there. There's other items, but they're not going to mention those. And he was in Philly and Pittsburgh at some point, and then where he was obviously arrested. And then Josh Shapiro wants us to know that this is deeply disturbing. Like, this is a killer. He is a killer, and he does not need to be praised on social media. Okay. Well, they're not giving out any details about how he got around town, this Pitt, Philly shit, and that there are missing gaps, though. And they have made it known numerous times that they want you to hit up that tip line. They said that he kept a low profile and he was avoiding cameras. Okay. Now, that was your recap. I would die if he went to the Browns Pittsburgh game. So let's talk about it. Ready? Cancel that. All right, what do you guys got in chat? Yep, where did he sleep? McDonald's is public. I mean, I have so many things to say. So, guys, this would mean that he either had to buy a backpack at some point, okay, or he had two, which means he had one on him from the shooting, and I don't know if then he put one in the park, which I would believe he did not go back to the hostel, so he did not go back there to get a backpack, which means he would have put a backpack in the park, okay? So the one that he would have had on the back of his person, he would have pre-planted a backpack in New York in the when he was at some point in time, he would have pre-planted this backpack for authorities to find. Okay? Because otherwise he ditches the backpack that he did have, the only one that he would have had, and then got a new one at some point. So I don't believe that. Especially like, how would you keep your things? Like, you have to have a backpack, right? So I believe that stuff was stashed somewhere, or he had help, right? Or he had help. I thought he came from Atlanta, though, on the 24th. Okay. Remember that we believe that the killer came from Atlanta. Do you guys realize that everything about who they thought that it was not the right person? You guys understand that, right? That he came from Atlanta. Like, because they're thinking if they had that fake ID and they're tracking down that fake ID, right? Or did he have multiple fake IDs? Multiple fake IDs from New Jersey. Okay. So they're fumbling over some words in that whatever you want to call it, the press conference. But also we have to think about it this way. Why is Pennsylvania truly giving a press conference other than just talking about from 9:15 a.m. on forward? Asking them questions after the 9:15 a.m. from this morning is absolutely useless. They wouldn't know any of that shit. They're not the ones that did the investigation from the time of the shooting, you know? So asking Pennsylvania any questions about what has transpired from the time of the shooting or before the shooting, and then up until 9:15 a.m. this morning, what do you expect Pennsylvania to know? They wouldn't know a damn thing. Then let me get this straight. They sent somebody from New York to be present at that press conference? Right. And then let me get this straight. He's trying to keep a low profile, right? He's trying to keep a low profile, and he decides to keep everything that would implicate him in the CEO's murder. Right? Don't get me wrong. This kid is very, very smart. This kid is extremely intelligent. Extremely intelligent. But if he's like planning on ditching things and takes a new backpack and has these IDs and has money and cash and he's not using cards and all these things, right? You're going to sit there and tell me, though, that he's going to keep all of this shit? Come on, man. Wild, right? Leave it up to Pennsylvania, though. And they said that he went to Pennsylvania because he had ties in Pennsylvania because he went to school in Pennsylvania. He went to school in Pennsylvania in 2000. I think he graduated in 2016. He's 26 years old. So, yeah. Anyways, how did he know where Brian Thompson was spending the night? He was in a different hotel, right? How did he know where Brian Thompson would be? I'll give you the fact that he could have gotten the information about where the conference would be, that it was going to be at the Hilton. Awesome. But how did he know that Brian Thompson wasn't spending the night and wasn't staying at the Hilton? Brian Thompson got in town on Monday, according to the police. Okay, Monday. So how did he know that he wasn't spending the night at the Hilton and that he would be actually coming from the hotel that he was and to be on that side of the Hilton building to be able to catch him at 6:44 a.m. to shoot him? Because he's a hack and he got into his shit. Remember, the police said in New York that they don't believe that Brian Thompson and the killer had crossed paths like before the shooting? Because I could see if here the killer, the shooter here, if he made it so that they would bump into each other on Monday night or Tuesday night and be within close proximity. Can't you use your phone? And if you go by somebody else's phone, if you have the right software on your phones, that you can like take the data out of the one person's phone. Isn't this what these hacks do? And that maybe from there, then he would have been able to see where he was. I mean, I'm talking about, how did he find out where he was, his hotel? So just so we know, and we're clear, New York City had no idea who did this. None. Absolutely none. It finally came out today that the mayor lied and said that they have a name. Well, guess what? The name that you had was not the right person, because it came out today that this name had never been said before. And so therefore, whatever name that they had and whatever the leads they were pursuing with all of this AI intelligence bullshit, okay, off of this, you know, generated shit off of these cameras, All right, they had nothing. And then here today, a customer at McDonald's at 9:15 in the morning doesn't just call 911 themselves to go get this reward money. Lets an employee at McDonald's, hey, I think that guy's suspicious. I think he looks like the killer for the CEO murder in New York. And then the employee at McDonald's was like, okay, I guess I'll call it in. Or, oh man, yeah, I think you're right. And then here they're having this conversation out in the open at the counter, and homeboy, who would be vigilant, checking and knowing his surroundings, wouldn't see what the fuck was going on right there at the counter. No, because he was sitting way in the back by the bathrooms or some shit like that, right? You wouldn't want to stay in a location for very long being that person. How long was he in McDonald's for? Remember, this guy, Luigi, was never a suspect until this happened in McDonald's at 9:15 in the morning in Pennsylvania. So New York, they want to clap and say all these great things about everybody, what they did. They didn't find anything. And I wouldn't be shocked if they found a homeless man's damn backpack. You know how many backpacks there'd probably be in New York City? In that park? It's just wild. Now think about this. Think about if they wouldn't have released the photo that they did, right? Then the public couldn't have possibly helped, right? So much for saying that the public can't solve crimes, because the public is exactly giving that information to the public and putting it out through media or YouTube channels or whatever is the only way that man was caught, right? But all we hear about is the men in uniform. Well, I want to hear about the people behind computer screens blasting it out there and putting the picture front and center. Because that McDonald's employee, I guarantee you, wasn't watching no 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news. They're probably watching a damn YouTube channel. So go give some YouTubers some credit out there. But that Josh Shapiro would never get my vote. Ever. He thinks that a woman stabbed herself 20 times and committed suicide by stabbing herself 20 times when 3 of those stabbings was after she was dead. Okay? That's the same guy that's up at that podium. Josh Shapiro. I got to go do some more research. You guys keep it rocking. Truth and transparency. Let's go make sure that we flood that tip line with all the tips. Who is Mr. Luigi? What's up, Boston? What's up? What's up? What's up? Lana, he was working on his laptop, was he? I have no idea. You know, yeah. Take care, guys. See you on the flip side.